I want to kind of start with the initiative that was going on today, the Safe Place Selfie. So we're going to roll some video here, kind of talk about the initiative and what took place today, and maybe even see a few familiar faces in this video. All right, so as you can see, a few familiar faces there with the Safe Place selfies. This was me in the basement here. I was in a interior closet that we have downstairs, and I was going to have my dog included, but she just wasn't having her picture taken last night. Here's James in his safe place in his downstairs closet. Looks like he's got some board games, James. You got Monopoly?
I know. I'm prepared to actually shelter in place for an extended period of time.
And so there's Evan. Evan, you're in the shower. That's a good place to be. And then Jared. Jared's not here tonight. He was at work today, and I think he's also in the bathroom as well. And interior lives for and protect yourself. And that's one thing, helmets and things like that. Melissa, this is you. I'll let you. You had your own experience just a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, the March 3rd event, we actually got to take our Safe Place selfie while we were actually in place. We were under a tornado warning at the time. My daughter and I have a ready, set, go type of system where if the watch comes out, we get the safe place prepared. And so as soon as that warning hits, we're able to jump into our safe place. So that was us taking that evening while we were definitely, and there were actually 2 tornadoes in Lexington County, not far from where we're located here in South Carolina. So it was a good thing that we did take shelter.
Definitely so. And I know as we go through, there's Doug. And so, Doug, you were talking about children, in hot.
That's right.
And that's something that we see every summer.
So last year, sadly, 51, I think, was the final count from 2018 of the number of children that were killed in a hot vehicle. Many of them were, the situation was a parent or a caregiver just simply got distracted, and it takes a second to sort of lose that situational awareness of who's in the car, or maybe it's routine that's kind of been broken, where, dad doesn't normally drop off the child at daycare, but mom's not feeling well. So dad's, his routine's broken. We've seen stories like that. And, having a 1-year-old, all the while I'm, promoting, hot vehicle safety. My safe place selfie was, having that reminder in the car, and I have a little piece of paper that I put up on my dashboard when I do have my daughter in the car. It's that little reminder, that little voice in your head that, wherever I go with her, I know she's back there. Unfortunately, when the Weather Service and sort of within the Weather Ready Nation community, when we do post on a hot vehicle safety, there is it's very emotional, and some people get emotional that, how could you be such a bad parent? I even got from that safe place selfie today, an angry man responding, basically saying, you get what you deserve if that's what you're going to do to your children. And really, it's a mindset change that we're trying to work here, where the first step to ensuring something like this doesn't happen is acknowledging that it could happen. And I think that's very important. And, there are others, who are right by our side. And I know our social media team within the National Weather Service, we're all very passionate. We want that 51, total from last year to be 0 in 2019.
Definitely so. And if you wasn't able to participate, maybe you didn't get to the 11/11 time frame. We still encourage you. You can still tweet it out or Facebook it out today, right now, if you want to. We'd love to do that. And Doug, I think you all had a great turnout from this. Have you got some preliminary numbers that you
So
can share with us?
So I do, and these are as of 5 p.m. Eastern. So as the Twitter traffic continues through the evening, really, into tomorrow and beyond. But today, strictly, we had 27.2 million accounts reached on Twitter, 89 million tweet views or impressions, and 2,140 accounts tweeted their safe place selfie. This is the most we've had over the 4 years. It really is impressive that the Weather Ready Nation ambassadors, groups like you, but really it takes everybody to speak with one voice. And when that happens, you get Safe Place Selfie trending. You get people posting, wow, I saw Safe Place Selfie. This is certainly not what I was expecting. I always love those tweets. But just taking a few seconds, knowing where your safe place is and going there, it's very powerful when you're capturing the preparedness action as it happens versus having somebody read an article or go through it in their mind. What we want are the people to do it. And so those 2,140 accounts that are actually posting their safe place, that's great news for us.
That is, I mean, that's impressive. That kind of gave me some cold chills there. That's some good numbers. I see we have some comments here. One person asking about where do you shelter during a storm. If you'll stick around, we've got a whole segment dedicated to that towards the end of the show. Joshua Gosnell was talking about he lives in a mobile home and he would go over to his grandparents' house. So they have a safe and sturdy structure there. So those are good reports to have. So
it's been an incredible day. I got to say, this is now our 4th year launching this Safe Place Selfie campaign. We've done it differently every year. A couple of years back, we would sort of have it a 3-day event. But this year, we really wanted to kind of have everything focused at a time and a place. And so we encouraged everybody to do several things. One, find a hazard. Though naturally, most people think of a safe place is for extreme winds, tornadoes, severe thunderstorms, but we really encouraged people throughout the country, pick a hazard that is, common in your area, sort of the bigger threats that you face. Pick a hazard, find that safe location. Obviously, for tornadoes, you want your strongest shelter possible. And I think we're going to be talking a little bit more about that in a little bit. But through the other, hazards, sometimes a car is a safe place and sometimes a car is the worst place. And so this whole day was about getting people to think about where they are, think about what hazards that impact them, and then do something fun, which isn't always associated with preparedness. Take a selfie, post it on social media, and encourage others to do the same and have that conversation, because sort of our take-home message in what a Safe Place Selfie is all about is that number one preparedness action. It's not an emergency kit. It's not a communications plan. It is knowing where you are and where you need to be when extreme weather threatens you. And with that, that's where we can save lives, and that's where we can reduce the immediate human impact of these events.
And Doug, I was, searching throughout Twitter throughout the day, watching all of the initiatives. Not only was it severe thunderstorms and tornadoes, but I saw pictures of flash flooding, tsunamis, and things like that. So a lot of us kind of correlate tornadoes, hurricanes, severe thunderstorms, but it's more than that. It's floods, tsunamis, and things like that.
Absolutely. We had the West Coast was targeting, or focusing on earthquakes, tsunamis, wildfires. Where's your safe place? So we're trying to, really educate people, that your home should have a 30-foot buffer between the, your pine trees and other consumables from your home. With tsunamis, it's always get high and get elevated and get inland. But even rip currents, it's been spring break for the last couple of weeks and continuing here into April. Know your safe place from a rip current. What would that be? Number one, you got to be near the lifeguard stand in between the flags. Don't go out into the water alone. There are things that you can do that completely avoids a bad thing from happening just by knowing where your safe place is and where it isn't.